From ducking fights to controversial wins, this is the real reason everyone hates Aljamain Sterling. Having haters is part of being a UFC fighter, but few get more hate slung at them than poor Aljamain Sterling. It's probably no secret to Sterling that he is not a popular figure with the fans or other fighters in the UFC. Sterling's behavior both in and out of the ring has rubbed many the wrong way, making him one of the most controversial fighters currently in the UFC. Let's dive into what caused fans to turn on him. But first, let's talk about some of the good things Sterling has going on for him. The hate clearly hasn't gotten to him, and he is currently on a 9-fight win streak and holds the record for most consecutive title defense wins in UFC history. Pretty impressive, you have to admit. One of his biggest wins was against Henry Cejudo at UFC 288. This was a big matchup, as it was Cejudo's first fight since coming out of retirement. Although the matchup was scrutinized by fans, with most claiming that Cejudo going for the title immediately after exiting retirement didn't make sense. It was still a heavily anticipated fight. The two would go all 5 rounds, with Sterling taking the win by points 48-47. You'd think going toe-to-toe with a fighter like Cejudo would win some fans back over to his side, but it turns out UFC fans can really hold a grudge. Back at UFC 280, Sterling would take home another big championship win against TJ Dillashaw. It's clear that Sterling is an extremely talented fighter and has earned his title as the 4-time bantamweight champion. Being the champ is bound to come with some pushback, but his problems really started after his match against Peter Yan in 2021. This fight was cursed from the start and began a long saga of unflattering circumstances for Sterling. UFC 259 saw Sterling and Yan in the ring together for the first time. Yan was defending his championship title, while Sterling was going into the match with a 5-fight win streak behind him. This win streak might have worked against him in the end, as he began to take a serious beating early in the match. This continued for the first 4 rounds of the fight, with Yan not showing any signs of letting up. With victory in sight, tragedy struck for Yan after a miscommunication with his corner led to him delivering an illegal knee in the 4th round.
Look at him just pressing on the head here, though.
That's illegal.
His knee was down.
This would result in Sterling taking the win by disqualification, a decision that would go on to cause an uproar in the UFC community. Fans and fighters alike were upset with the results, as many felt that Yan was robbed of his title. Watching the fight back, it was clear that Sterling was outmatched in every way. It was only a stroke of bad luck for Yan that got him the win, a fact that fans haven't let Sterling forget. Now, you could probably argue that it was not Sterling's fault that he won this way, and that it's natural for fans to be upset at such an underwhelming result. But fans' main complaints with the match stem from his behavior after the illegal knee. It is speculated that the blow didn't actually harm Sterling as much as he let on. Many claim he's a bad actor who hammed it up to push the decision in his favor. People also didn't like the way that he handled himself after the controversial win. In his post-fight interview, Sterling went on to say that he didn't want to win this way, and even shed a few tears for posterity.
That's not the way I wanted to win. That's not the way I envisioned this. And I just took butt off, man.
Not even 24 hours later, he could be seen on social media posing with the belt and calling out other fighters like Henry Cejudo. No one can blame someone for letting a big win go to their head, but a win that many people feel like you didn't deserve is a different story. The fallout from the fight was quick to hit social media, with Peter Yan issuing an apology for the illegal kick and the results of the fight. UFC veteran Chuck Liddell would go on to voice a strong opinion, stating that the knee was blatantly and purposefully illegal. Other fighters like Michael Chiesa and Dominic Reyes would echo those sentiments, stating that they believe the ref made the right decision. Sterling's coach Ray Longo would come to his defense and was reported to be furious with fans' accusations. He felt like Sterling winning the belt was more of a curse than a blessing. In a lot of ways, that's probably true. To add insult to injury, a rematch was scheduled towards the end of 2021 between Yan and Sterling, but was postponed for almost a year due to an injury sustained by Sterling. This would have been the perfect chance to take the win more honorably, but it would be a while before the two would meet again in the ring. Many fans believe that Sterling was faking his injury, postponed the division from moving forward. Well, it turns out that he wasn't faking, and a recent neck surgery was keeping him from being able to fight. Of course, prioritizing the health of fighters is important, but this could not have come at a worse time for Sterling. The backlash from the controversial win coupled with the postponement of the rematch would cast a shadow on Sterling's career for a long time. Peter Yan would be quick to call him out on Instagram, calling Sterling a sneaky coward.
Касаемо моего поединка, всем известно, что Алджа сбежал, как подлый трус.
Sterling has previously pulled out of 2 fights due to injuries, including UFC Fight Night in 2014 and 2016. As we all know now, the rematch would go down, and Sterling would finally take the win legitimately, beating Yan during their rematch at UFC 273. Unfortunately, the damage to his reputation had been done. It seems that fans were not quick to forget about all their grudges against him, and he didn't do himself any favors when he was spotted hanging out with controversial social media star Andrew Tate.
But, I mean, he's strong and fit, but he ain't technical, is he? You know? No. You just dance around, hit him a few times.
Andrew Tate had recently been involved in several controversies, including accusations of misogynistic and racist comments. Sterling was quick to defend Tate on social media after the backlash, stating that everyone is too quick to condemn people. Things have been relatively quiet for Sterling since then, but with a big fight on the horizon against Sean O'Malley at UFC 292, who knows what to expect? You may be wondering how Sterling deals with all the hate. It turns out he's not shy when it comes to defending himself, often taking to social media to go back and forth with haters and critics. Sterling has made it clear that he doesn't care what people think, and he's let the championship title speak for itself. In fact, he seems to enjoy the back and forth with people, and honestly, it's nice to see a fighter as big as him engaging with the fans, even if it's just to defend himself against mudslinging. It's hard to hold the past against him, when he has shown some incredible talent in his recent fights against major competitors Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw. But it's like they say, the internet never forgets, and apparently, UFC fans never forgive either. All eyes are on Sterling, who is preparing for his next fight at UFC 292 against Sean O'Malley. A win would not only secure his championship title, but would also earn him a 10-fight win streak. It's fair to say that he has his work cut out for him, as O'Malley has been a serious contender for some time. Either way, it's hard to tell whether a big win against O'Malley will be enough to heal the damage done to his reputation after the fallout from the Peter Yan fight. Sterling has proven that he has some pretty thick skin, both in and out of the ring. Whether he is defending the title in the ring or going back and forth with trolls and critics on social media, Sterling is proof that the life of a champion isn't easy. So, from ducking fights to controversial wins, this is the real reason everyone hates Aljamain Sterling.